everybody's at different stages.
Yeah.
You need to know if the band is competent. Normally, people would have a rehearsal with the band. It's not about just going and just singing with the band, and you tell me, oh, I've got a band and I've got singers, and then you go, and then it's a problem. There's just not, you just don't flow, or the band is not competent enough to play the songs that you want to minister, and then it just causes a whole load of issues. And sometimes, when you do actually convey and ask these questions, sometimes people may think that you're being diva-ish, or you're just going on like you're too big. And that is not the case. Our intentions and our endeavor is that we want to give our best to God. We've spoken about so many things in terms of how because this is a part of hospitality as well. You're inviting people to your church because you're putting on a concert. You want to give them a good meal, a good spiritual meal. Because when they go into the world to these events, they have the best of the best. So I think it's important, within the life of the church, that we try our endeavor best to have certain resources in place, so when you invite ministers to come in to minister, they can minister effectively as possible. I know some of you will say that, well, Jesus sat on a boat and preached from a boat. Yeah, those were in those times, right? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we need all the fandangles, all the technological fixes in order for us to do effective ministry. I'm not saying that, but I'm sure you get the point that I'm making. I think one of the other things I wanted to raise, and I think this is something that actually happens within a lot of churches, is that we honor, there's a biblical saying, a prophet is never honored in their own country, is that we will spend so much time honoring those who come from overseas, but those who we have amongst us, around us, we treat them as if we don't show that same hospitality or that same kindness. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying you're going to put them up in a big hotel. I'm not saying that, but you get what I'm saying. Sometimes the ones that we have closest to us, nearest to us, we do not show them good hospitality. But let somebody come from outside, and we're going all out, to do the best that we can to show hospitality. And I think that we need to have some type of we need to be balanced in terms of how we treat our own as well. Yep. I think sometimes the way we treat each other, it's not good. It's not good. And, coming back to the definition of Christian hospitality, it's about showing love, showing that love, going that extra mile, making that person feel welcome, feel like, you appreciate what they're bringing to your service, etc. And as Pastor always said, it goes both ways.
Really. It does. And I always say to people, you have the right to ask for anything. You have that right because you know who you are. You have the right to ask for anything, and I have the right to refuse. I can't do it. We can't do it. It's a conversation, and I totally understand what you just said. I totally agree with what you just said, because number one is we have to be honest enough to say, well, listen, for me to be able to do what I need to do and feel comfortable doing, I need X, Y, Z. They have to be honest enough to say, sorry, we can't give you X and Y, but we can give you Z. And you then can make your decisions from the conversation you're having. And I smiled. I only made the joke about the speaker, because I remember all the way down to London, Wembley, to do this thing, and you made promises. Yeah, we got this and we got that and this and that. And it sounded great. You say, I want to be there. And when we got there, the man had his stereo from home. You can't write this stuff. And we just traveled 120 miles. I just traveled from Birmingham to London. Stop laughing, guys.
It's a good stereo. It's a good stereo. It's a loud stereo.
The guy's got his speakers for 18 speakers from home, and we're looking. The worst part about it, my cousin who lives in London, lived in Greenford, and he picked me up and took me to London, because I didn't to Wembley. I didn't know the way around. He took me, and then he's there. He's not saved. And he come in and looked around and he started making faces to me, strange faces, like, what's this?
What is
and it goes back to, again, this is what we try to, we try to pull the wool over people's eyes. You charge them money to come in for this. You should give them the money back.
That's it.
Give them their money back. You come for whistling and noise and twist, and you don't even know. And what makes it really breaks my heart sometimes, especially people that sing to CDs, as we end up doing half the time. We sing to a CD. It's volume of the CD and volume of the voice. there's probably two knobs you have to turn. Come on, Pastor, you understand? There's probably two knobs. I know there's more than that, but you understand. Imagine if you had a whole band. I get it. You've got lots of things to do. But it's volume and turn it up or turn it down. And we can't even get that right, you know. But we want to put on the concert. I admire your tenacity, and I admire your excitement and your zeal. It's wonderful. But admit the fact that you're not there yet. You're not going to invest in to have the right equipment to do. You try and struggle with gospel concerts sometimes because, like you say, we look at the world. They don't hesitate to make sure, oh, that sounds right.
That's right.
You know, and they have their problems too. But we don't. Sometimes we're just glad to give you a microphone, and God forbid you complain. God forbid you say something. Then they say you're diva. Who you think you are? You know, you think you're big, and all this kind of rubbish that you have to put up with. And it's not that. It's not that. It's just that, like you rightly said, when you speak, you want to be heard. You know, you tell them turn up the mic so people can hear what you're saying. And sometimes